they suffer from lack of quality, affordable housing, which, if you've heard my colleagues at Almado, etc., will tell you that it results in crimes, it results in slums, crimes, worse health outcomes, and even social unrest. And if you consider that we are producing, we as mankind, do you know how many cars we produced in 2017, 18, and 2016, 17, and 18? Per annum? 70 million cars. Okay? 70 million cars. And every one of those cars, being a gasoline car, petrol car, has 10,000 moving parts. And we produce those cars at the rate of one every 8.6 seconds. Okay? Tesla is producing, now they're doing 7,000, they'll get up to 10,000 per week. Tesla cars are 1,300 parts, and each one is, and they're producing, I think, 1,000 a day. Okay? And the question that begs itself is, good Lord, why not housing? At least simple housing units, which will get people out of living in tents to start with. And then we can start modularizing a few more things. So that's, and as this thesis was tested and tested and tested, more and more became apparent, to the point where it felt like a crime against humanity to not do something about it. Because we actually do have the technology right now. And we had the ability 75 years ago that we were producing 3 battleships every 2 days. That is, a battleship was a 5,000 person city. Okay, a floating city that we were producing every 2 days. That was 75 years ago. So if we could do a 5,000 person city, 3 of them, every 2 days, why have we not put ourselves to solve something that can be solved? At any rate, that is my quest. And Bridgeport Developments, BPD, it does something very simple. It develops and licenses the technology that will be used to build automated on-site factories, which in turn will produce or quickly construct these highly desirable, eco-positive, and highly affordable communities, housing communities. So the key word here is communities, not just individual units of housing. But what we've seen here is that for something to take root, it has to be a community, and that's what we're doing. Okay, and this is not a pitch for funds. I want to take a step back. Okay, so far Bridgeport Developments has assembled a dream team. We've got luminaries like the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, the President of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, a 2-term legislator. Now Mr. LBO and Mr. Toilet as well. They're 2 different people, but all of you know Jackson. And soon we will also be empaneling the CPA, who was also the co-author of the Rich Dad series. Some of you probably know her, yes. And the President of the Real Estate Investment Network Foundation. Now, this is the list of advisors. I don't have to bore you with this. But we've assembled a dream team. What Bridgeport then did was to do a market analysis, and this involved understanding about 104 cities and towns across US and Canada on 33 data points to identify one particular location, which is on your map. Okay, and you'd ask, why this particular location? And I will ask you, imagine what happens to a city or town of 200,000 people where $125 billion in investment, capital investment, goes in over a 10-year period, and which results in a demand for 60,000 workforce jobs and 20,000 permanent jobs. Okay, what do you think happens to housing in that market, and the sustainability of housing? Which is why that particular location came right on top. So we started broad with North America, came down narrow to identify a market. Next, we went a little further, and within the market, we went into looking at sub-markets, and there were about 4,500, 4,200 data points that we analyzed. Bridgeport looked at 70 different locations. Each location had about 60 data points, so that's about 4,200 data points to arrive at a sub-market. And within the sub-market, now you have different product types which address different needs. What do I mean by this? That the customers have need for workforce lodging as well as traditional housing, and which is why we've got 2 parcels of land which address both different products. So what you see are the parcels of land we've secured. We've completed the zoning. So yes, we've done all this. We've developed and tested the idea and the concept and the preliminary design for WL is workforce lodging, T&D is traditional neighborhood development, and we developed the go-to for each sub-market. Now, this is an example of what the finished product would look like. So this is not a pitch for funds, because we've done this. We've also validated the product market fit by having it tested with the planning board, as well as expressions of interest from the companies, the Fortune 500 companies that are our customers, and those are well-known names that you see there. Okay, so as a result of all this, what has happened is funding. We've secured funding for 2 different projects. The first one is workforce lodging, and it is coming out in tranches. The numbers you see, 520 and 53, that's for acquisition, development, and construction. And so too for the next project. So now,